right, so before we move into the rants and commentary, I just want to quickly share some of our social media with you so that you know where to go to get all of this good information anytime that you want it. And then we'll move into the rants and commentary. So let's start out at the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings. This is the basis of all of our information. Visit it at sterlingnppr.com. It'll take you directly to the Facebook page, which is a public page, sort of like a website. Same thing for Ben and Barry on football. If you're at Facebook, I got a little nose thing going there for you right there. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Coach of the Seminoles flag football team here in Philadelphia. So we decided to just share a little bit of the Knowles family with him, and I actually know that guy here in the picture.
Yeah, he's okay.
He's all right. He's all right. I expect he might make the Hall of Fame like his father.
Perhaps.
Could be, could be. All right, Ben and Barry and Football is also on Twitter, so you can visit us there. And again, it's a great place because the people that we follow, I mean, again, you know, if you want to just kind of catch up with what's going on Twitter, there's a lot of good information. There's my favorite Niner right there. They had a little special on him.
I know.
Man,
It's great.
Channel, man.
It was great.
You had to love it. On Instagram, we are there also. And if you go to www.benandbarryonfootball, you'll go to our YouTube channel where all of our videos reside. Okay. So we're going to move on to the commentary. I got a few things. I actually did make some notes, Ben.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah. So first thing is, this is kind of a question.
Okay.
Some real serious run games happening this year.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if the teams that are focused on really running the ball, are sort of, well, let's put it this way. You know how they say it's a passing game?
It's a passing league.
Passing league. So your running back, I mean, your linebackers and stuff have to be able to handle that, which means that you don't have the big, hulking, slower linebackers now. These guys have to be mobile.
We're trending toward that, yes.
Trending toward that. But the counter trend then is the power run game.
Right.
Because if you are getting smaller, getting easier to block, getting, you know, the matchup on the running back favors the running back more now, you know, in the actual. So what do you think? Do you think maybe this counter trend, like the Niners have with the serious hardcore run game, could be, the timing could be really good because the linebackers or because the defenses are now geared towards stopping the pass as opposed to the run?
Well, I think what you're going to start to see is kind of a hybrid linebacker, something along the lines of Devin Bush that plays for the Steelers. A guy who's fast, can cover, can blitz, and can hit. There's not a lot of those guys around. A few teams have them, most teams don't. But we've seen these kind of trends happen before in the NFL, and it seems like the opposition always catches up, and then something else happens, and then the opposition catches up. And when I say the opposition, I'm talking offense to defense. Remember back in the day when the little fast receivers were in vogue? Okay.
You still got them.
Right. There's some,
yeah,
but not as many.
Right. They're all on the Chiefs.
In fact, I would say that teams are actually looking for the taller receivers with not necessarily big, but with a little bit of weight on them that have them really good 40 times. There was a trend in getting big, strong cornerbacks and safeties. That seems to have calmed down a little bit because they're more interested in guys that can actually cover, because speed kills. And every year we go to the combine and more guys are dropping down to the 4.4s and the 4.3s and the 4.2s. So these trends kind of come and go, and if something trends positively for the offense, somehow the defense figures it out. And I don't mean the defense of the team figures it out, but defensive players come along, and you see them coming in college. You can see them coming. So yeah, it'll work itself out. But right now, it's a tough trend. These teams that can really run the ball and have linemen that can make their initial block and then they get to the second level. So now, not only is the linebacker looking for the hole, finding the running back and hitting him, but the first thing coming at him is a guard who outweighs him by 100 pounds. So he's got to fend that guy off first, or a fullback.
Last week, the Saints game,
Uh-huh.
the Saints had a play where Taysom Hill lined up at fullback.
Okay.
And the guard pulled. And he was on the side that Drew Brees threw the pass. Their running back, Latavius Murray.
Yes.
Latavius was open on this side. Taysom Hill was open on that side. The guard is standing there. There was nobody to block. He's just standing there like, okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a beautiful play. But,
Did they have a tricky formation?
a lot of tight formation stuff.
That's tricky. It's hard for a defense to decipher what you're going to do out of a really tight formation.
I kept looking at the defensive setup because there were three linebackers all within the tackles, and I'm like, you guys are just giving up the flanks here. Just, you know what I mean?
Basically.
And so
at that point they're like, we're not going to let you power us.
But they had been getting powered. That was the thing that I wanted to mention about Latavius Murray, because we talked about Kareem. What's his name? The first string running back.
Yeah.
For the safeties being out,
right? And
then what type of a running game adjustment would the Saints make?
Right.
Man, they made they just showed Kamara. They can go down the depth chart,
absolutely,
and still be
very versatile offensive line.
The Vikings can go down the depth chart,
very versatile
and
offensive line.
Still, with running backs who can still run with power.
Right.
So and the Niners, and if you look at the NFC West, okay, you look at the Rams versus the Seahawks and the Niners. Well, your Seahawks and your Niners, they got at least 2 to 3 backs deep.
Yes,
and they're coming at you with that power run game. Yep. Rams have a run game. We just don't know how long.
Yeah, it's a finesse.
They're more of a finesse.
They're a finesse run game. They don't. Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Wanted to make just an observation, and I don't know if you've seen the same thing. I like to focus on the Cardinals. Kyler Murray and what they're doing with the air raid. One of the things that I noticed about Kyler is that when he throws the ball, other than when he can find the lane and he can zip it. Okay. But if he has to drop back in a pocket and throw the ball, he has a serious trajectory on that ball. And it seems to make sense if you're that short and your linemen are that tall, you have to throw the ball like that.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting watching them play my Niners, because Richard Sherman, one of the things I used to always say about Sherman was that because of his height, if you were going to throw over him, you had to get the ball a good 7 to 8 yards past him, or between his speed and his height, he could get to that ball. I mean, you really had to put some air on it and get it right, and get the receiver behind him with a little bit of space, at least 5 yards. Mm-hmm. So when you got a situation where Kyler's already got to throw the ball on a serious arc, if he makes the mistake of going over that side, I could see Sherman coming back with the ball, because that's just not the side that you really want to throw on. But have you noticed his trajectory, his arc on his ball?
Yes.
He throws it. Do you think that could be problematic?
It could be problematic, except he doesn't do it a whole lot because they have a lot of built-in rollout stuff for him. Rolling pocket, built-in rollout, and all that stuff, so they can get him in space so he's not throwing under duress. But if in fact a play calls for him to throw from the pocket, or if he actually gets put in a pocket and has to try to step up, yeah, he's going to have to put it up there. And a guy with really good ball skills like Sherman is going to see that, and he's going to get under it.
So I'm just looking. Keep an eye on that, folks. That's just something that that I tended to pick up. And then the last was a note to the Washington team that needs to change their name. It says, I noted, when your offensive line sucks, avoid spread offenses with no backing. Especially in the red zone. Everybody thinks they're Tom Brady. You know, that red zone, man, you get down there and start spreading out. You might think that's easy, but it's not always as easy as you think, especially when your line sucks. So that was a note there. All right, enough for what me. Any last words from you?
My last word is, if you watch the Miami-Pittsburgh game, there was a play in the game where I think it was Mason Rudolph running the ball, I think. He was trying to get a first down. And it looked like his knee hit. He had the ball kind of like this. And it looked like his knee hit before he actually broke the plane of the first down marker. So they called it a first down. And then they moved the chains. And then it got challenged. And they had to bring the chains back and reset them. And then figure out, you know, they had to go and look at the replay to figure out when his knee hit, where was the ball. To me, it was plain as day watching the replay that he did not, he was down. But somehow they came back and said that he got the first down. And we've seen things like this happen all season. But Brian Flores, the head coach, who is a real smooth, real cool, real heady kind of guy, snapped on the refs.
Oh, I do kind of.
He was in their faces.
Yeah.
And he was hot because the whole procedure of that thing was kind of messed up. And I don't blame him. I would have done the same thing. I don't know when the challenge flag got thrown, but they were too quick to move that ball. They were too quick to move the chains. And then I think they lost their initial spot. And their explanation was, we're going to put everything back, and then we're going to bring out the chains to measure. No, just look at the replay before nothing got moved. So they brought it back. They put the ball down. He's like, that's not the spot. You can see him saying, that's not the spot. That's not where it was. And then they brought out the chains.
No.
He just made it, and he shouldn't have.
Okay.
He's just made it, and he shouldn't have. But I say all this to say, on a team where the word tanking is being thrown around, on a team that hasn't won any games, and on a team whose head coach was just fired from the Denver Broncos for having a really rough season, and now he's got to rebuild this thing. I just hope that the management decisions that are bringing on this tank mode, because it's not him and it's not the players. If you get rid of it, anybody who's a Sixers fan knows what tanking's all about. You get a good coach, and then you get rid of all his good players. And you say, okay, here's your team. Coach them up and try to win games, knowing that it's going to be extremely difficult. That's the position that Brian Flores is in. I feel bad for the brother, but I hope that they let him, I don't know what kind of contract he signed, but I hope they let him wait this thing out, get some drafts under his belt, and be able to actually build a good team down there again. And I loved his fire. You know, anybody else could have been like, they got us. You know, we're going to lose anyway. You know, but he was scratching and clawing for that inch.
Got to give them credit.
Got to
you know,
give them
for
credit.
hanging in there. We've been on losing teams,
Yeah.
so we know what it's like when you know, you're looking up and the motivations are different, you know, and
Right.
all of that. Once you reach a point, and we're kind of there. You know, if you look again, you go back to the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings and what we call the neighborhoods. You got a few neighborhoods where teams are basically kind of done for the year. I mean,
Oh yeah.
if you look from 25th down to 32nd in net points, you got the Browns, the Cardinals, the Giants, the Falcons, the Bengals, the team that needs to change their name. It's got me.
Yeah.
The Jets and the Dolphins.
Yeah. Let's not throw dirt on the Browns yet.
Well, they're
I'm trying to be
25th.
nice.
So, yeah, you are trying to be nice with them. They are literally below the Raiders, the Broncos, and the Buccaneers in terms of
They're
net points.
definitely in the bad neighborhood.
That's not the neighborhood you want to be in. The Lions, Panthers, Chargers, Eagles, and Steelers and the Colts are in that area right around the middle. Colts being +7, Lions being -6.
Right.
So they're
They still have
inhabiting
life.
Yeah, they're inhabiting. There's still some life there. Probably looking at the Eagles, maybe the Panthers coming out of that. You said I don't know about the Chargers. I'm not sure about what the Chargers are going to do. The up in the set, the two-digit numbers starting out in the net point. Jaguars, Bills, Seahawks, and Titans are still in the teens at rankings from 11th down to 14th. And then you got your top 10, your Texans at 10, Saints 9, Rams 8, Chiefs 7, Packers 6. And go to the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings for the top 5 in net points. But those are your neighborhoods. So,
yeah, that 11 to 20 neighborhood, your wild card teams are going to come out of there, if anything. Everybody in there should be fighting for a wild card.
all right, there you go. So that wraps up this week's portion of Ben and Barry on football. Again, my name is Barry Sterling Mitchell. You can reach us at www.benandbarryonfootball. If you are on YouTube, please click the subscribe and the notification bell. That's all from me. Any last words for you?
Go Knowles.
There you go.